100 Filipino caregivers who arrived last month started work here in the country this week as part of Seoul's pilot program to offer more affordable childcare. Our economics correspondent Moon Hye-ryeon joins me in the studio to tell us more. Hye-ryeon, give us some background as to why the program has been introduced.
Well, Changmin, South Korea's population crisis remains a top priority for the government. The fertility rate has hit record lows yearly, reaching 0.72 last year, the world's lowest, and far below the level needed for a stable population. Experts point to demanding jobs, stagnant wages, and rising living costs as key factors. Dual-income households have surged as a result, surpassing 6 million last year, with over half of families with young children having both parents working full-time. This is reflective of changing social and economic dynamics in the country as more women pursue careers and contribute to their families' financial well-being, with living costs going up and changing views on gender roles. Despite growing demand for childcare services, the government says there's a shortage and existing options are too costly.
And walk us through the details of this pilot program.
So, Changmin, the pilot program came into talks last year as part of the government's efforts to address the ticking demographic time bomb. Last month, it was all set into motion as 100 Filipino women landed at Incheon Airport with E9 visas that are limited to non-professional employment. Let's listen to what one of them had to say.
I was really surprised to hear that I'd been selected and I was the envy of people around me. I'd like to make some Korean friends and enjoy the culture.
All 100 caregivers aged 24 to 38 completed over 780 hours of training and hold childcare certificates from the Philippine government. They passed background checks, a Korean language exam, and an English interview. And over the past 4 weeks since their arrival, they've undergone mandated caregiver training run by the government to prepare them for the work they'll be doing for the next 6 months. The competition was just as fierce for their employers, with 731 South Korean households applying and only 157 being selected. The majority of those chosen for the pilot program were working parents with more than one child, with the target groups being working, single, or expecting parents. Caregivers can be hired for 4 to 8 hours a day, and based on a 40-hour working week, their monthly wages total 2.38 million won, or nearly $1,800 US.
Hye-ryeon, is there any concerns, and how does the government plan to proceed with this program going forward?
Well, the government initially planned to expand the service to bring in more caregivers, up to 1,000 by 2028 if the 6-month pilot program is a success. But there are some concerns that need to be addressed first. $1,800 per month is no small sum for the average parent in South Korea, and it's being seen as one of the reasons why the majority of households that applied and were selected for the pilot program were located in the capital's wealthier areas. But the government faces a dilemma as lowering costs could lead to other issues.
Reducing wages could make it more difficult to secure workers, as foreign domestic workers have many other options once they get into Korea.
The vagueness of the work that pilot Filipino caregivers can do is also being raised as a problem. Guidelines stipulate that they cannot do anything unrelated to providing care for a child, such as doing the dishes or helping out with any household chores that do not directly benefit the child. But it could be difficult to differentiate between what they can or can't do. And this could be a reason why 15 selected households for the program cancelled on the first day that they were due to be matched with a caregiver, although no official reasons were cited. However, experts say that as this is a pilot program, this serves as a step for making improvements, and it could become a benchmark to tackle another demographic issue for the country.
It would be more realistic to view this as a policy experiment to test how foreign workers can be utilized in caregiving services for the elderly population in a super-aging society.
While the Seoul metropolitan government has drawn up a guideline to assist with work-related issues, discussions regarding pay are still underway.
All right, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Thanks for that report, Hye-ryeon.
Thank you for having me.